With Martin Biron, less than a week left in the regular season, and the Leafs can still face any one of 4 different teams in the opening round of the playoffs. It could still be the Habs, the Sens, the Panthers, or even the Lightning. Marty Craig Button says the Leafs' most beatable first-round opponent would be the Sens. Do you agree? Or who do you think the Leafs would have the best chance to knock off?
I absolutely love my good friend Craig Button, but I disagree with him. I think the Leafs absolutely want to play the Montreal Canadiens. Look, if you look at the Canadiens lineup, you know their top line, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Uri Slafkovsky. You have to neutralize them. The Leafs have the depth. They can go top line against top line. They can go second line against anybody. I don't think that the Montreal Canadiens have the depth. Right now, Josh Anderson, Brendan Gallagher, Christian Dvorak are playing great. But when you ramp it up in the playoffs, I don't know that they can go toe-to-toe with what the Leafs can put on the ice against them. I like the Leafs goaltending. I like their depth at defense. And if you look at the season series, the Leafs went 0-3 against the Ottawa Senators this year. I think that Ottawa has the better goaltending. Ottawa has the X factor in Brady Tkachuk. So, yes, the Leafs could still very much beat the Ottawa Senators, but they want to play the Montreal Canadiens if they can, which is very unlikely where the way the standings are, but it could still happen. And I think they'd want to play Montreal.
All right, let's go to the other end of the scale now. Craig feels the Panthers would be the Leafs' worst nightmare in the opening round. Who do you think the Leafs would most fear in round 1?
It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Look, anytime you have Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Victor Hedman, Andrei Vasilevsky, I get that the Florida Panthers went to the finals 2 years ago and won the Stanley Cup last year. But Matthew Tkachuk is not 100% right now, and I don't know if he will be in the playoffs. They've been dealing with a ton of injuries. They don't have Aaron Ekblad for the first 2 games of the playoffs. So, yes, the Florida Panthers are going to be a tough out, but they're not as difficult to play against than the Tampa Bay Lightning. The way that the Lightning have been playing in the second half of the season, they're pushed. Listen, at one point, they weren't even in the top 3 in the Atlantic, and they battled all the way to second, and now are trying to chase and oust the Toronto Maple Leafs for top in the Atlantic. So I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are the toughest opponent. So I'm going to have them there as number 1, the team that the Maple Leafs want to see least in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay, opponents aside, how much better prepared do you feel the Leafs are to go into the playoffs this year overall than they were this time last year?
They're so much better prepared. Look, last year at this time of year, they were all trying to get Austin Matthews 70 goals. They weren't playing the team game. And right now, as a team, you're competing every night to try to get that number 1 seed in the Atlantic Division. I think it's a much different situation. Last year was individually. This year, it's collectively. They are better with their depth. You look at the way John Tavares is playing this year. You look at the way that Matthew Knies is playing. They're not just going to rely on Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and Willie Nylander. It's more than the big 3. It's a whole depth advantage to the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. And I think that just the situation they're in makes them a much better prepared team for the playoffs as opposed to the way they were last year.
The final preparations for the Leafs, they play 2 more playoff teams this weekend, the Habs and Canes. Then they'll finish the season against 2 teams who are currently on the outside looking in, the Sabres and the Red Wings.